Hello and welcome back to Attacking Third, a CBS Sports Soccer podcast. We are so pleased to have player interviews alongside our team-by-team previews. And today we have a special interview segment with Danielle Colaprico, midfielder for the Chicago Red Stars, and first time on the show. Welcome to Attacking Third, Danny.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
We're hyped to chat with you. I mean, look, I'm a local kid. At this point, I think it's safe to say you're a local kid. I'm always excited to have Chicago Red Stars players on the show with us. Let's start with maybe some fun non-soccer things. Was there any like fun non-soccer stuff that you got to do in the off season before going into preseason?
So I feel like when the off season comes, I'm just like absolutely exhausted and all I want to do is lay on the couch. Whereas some people are like, I gotta go on all these trips, vacay. I'm like, okay, see ya. Like I'm like, if I did that, I feel like I would still be like burnout. So I just love going home and spending time with my family. So I spent most of it in New Jersey. With my mom, my brother, and some of my friends that are still back at home, which is really nice just because it's nice to wake up and lay on the couch and have my mom be like, "Oh, what do you want for dinner?" or like coffee, and I'm like, "Yeah."
Yes.
I'm
So
like,
Sandra,
Sandra,
you called her a local Chicago kid, but she came back to the East Coast, over the off season. I love it.
I'm torn.
Got nothing but respect for the Jersey kid who calls Chicago her second home. All right, listen. What's your favorite thing that you ask your mom to cook for you when you're back home?
Oh, her meatballs. And that sounds like such like an Italian, of course, like, okay, you're Italian, you like her meatballs, but like these meatballs are to die for. And honestly, like I definitely eat way too much when I'm home. It was funny because I was just eating pasta and people were like, "Oh, like don't you need to start like getting ready for preseason?" I'm like, "Okay." Like I'm supposed to, like don't be commenting on my stuff telling me I'm ready for preseason. I'm like,
oh my
I'll
gosh.
be ready.
Get out of my bowl, man.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I'm like, I get to enjoy some food too.
Absolutely. Speaking of preseason, right? Chicago's preseason is officially underway. It's not your first Chicago preseason though. You've been with the team since you were drafted in 2015. How are the first few weeks going so far?
Yeah, they're good. I mean, I feel like although our off season was relatively short, I feel like we all came back and we were ready to go and just like we wanted to get started. And I feel like we've kind of had a bit of a different preseason without a head coach. So that's been a little bit different, but it's been nice to have Rade and Fabrice and Sitch step up to the plate, and they've been awesome the first few weeks. So like we're just happy to be there, and we're excited to continue. And obviously, we're all looking forward to that first game because we do have such a long preseason. So, but yeah, it's been good.
Before we dive into the coaches and how they're handling everything and you as players, were a lot of changes in the offseason, and Chicago said goodbye to some pretty big players and also welcomed a lot, but trading away Sarah Gordon, midfielder Julie Ertz, and you are a veteran of this Chicago Red Stars team. And there are a lot of new faces that were brought in for this preseason. How is it navigating preseason with so many new players?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I feel like all my years here, our past coach had tried to keep the core of our group together, and I feel like he did a very good job of that. So we all kind of knew each other's tendencies on the field. We had good chemistry on and off the field, and we just knew a lot about each other, which helped us perform well on the field. So obviously, when we gave away so many players, and then we have a lot of new faces now and a lot of youth, it's a little bit different vibe at within our team. But I think it's good for us because I feel like we needed kind of a fresh start, and we needed, the energy that the younger players bring and the different qualities that they bring to the table. So I think we definitely lose a bit of experience with the players that we've given away. But at the same time, we've acquired some really good players. And I mean, I've been watching the younger players train for 3 weeks now, and I'm quite impressed with some of the things that they can do on the ball, and some of the energy that they bring, and they can fly around the field like some of us older players may not be able to. So it's pretty cool to see it all come together. Obviously, with so many new faces, it's hard to gel right away, but I feel like as the weeks and the days have gone on, we've only grown to know each other more and more on the field. So it's been fun to see, and it's definitely more exciting than it maybe has been in past years where we're kind of like, oh, same team, hey guys. Like, I don't know. So it is exciting, but at the same time, we'll definitely come across some obstacles along the way, but nothing that I don't think we can figure out.
Nice, good energy. The club did kick off its preseason with an acting head coach, like you mentioned, right? Instead of an official head coach in place. Rade Teniskovic is taking place of an acting head coach right now, while the club says that they're still going through a head coaching search. How does something like that maybe impact the start of the year for players?
Yeah, I feel like at the very beginning of preseason, we were all a bit concerned about how this is going to play out. And I feel like as the weeks gone on, we kind of came together as group, as players, and we were like, hey, let's just, compete, do what we need to do on the field. Let the Red Stars organization figure out what our head coach situation is going to be. But we need to focus on being the best versions of ourselves on the field and, doing what Rade is asking of us, because he's in charge now. And I feel like we all respect Rade, and I feel like he's done a great job. I feel like he's a bit like stressed because he has a lot to take on and he probably wasn't expecting this role. But at the same time, he's done a great job at communicating with players, getting feedback, and staying in tune with how we feel as players and, some of the things that we want to see on the field or what we want to work on as a group. So it's been nice to have that path of communication between us and the coaches, because I feel like at the end of the day, we're the players and we're the ones on the field. And if we're feeling a certain way, like we want to, have that communication with our coach and have him respect our ideas and us respect his. So it's been great in that sense. But obviously at the same time, it is a little bit, I don't know, it makes us a little hesitant because we don't have a head coach, but at the end of the day, I think they're doing a great job, and we're really impressed with how they've handled things throughout the first few weeks.
There's been a lot of that conversation, that narrative, that there's been an attempt to try to have continued dialogue, like with the players, current players and even former players at the Red Stars level. And something that the franchise has talked a little bit about, like in this continued ongoing search, is that when it comes to tabbing an eventual next head coach, that they're trying to get players involved in that. Are you one of these players that's involved in that, or are you just sort of getting the updates as they come, or are you just sort of like, let me leave that to y'all? Like, what's the energy there?
Yeah, so there's I think there's 12 players in the committee in looking for a new coach. I personally opted out of it. I feel like it was going to be a big time commitment, and I had a lot of things that I was dealing with at home that I didn't want to commit to something that I wouldn't be able to fully be invested in. And with the 12 players that are in the group, I do believe in their values and what they want in a head coach. So I decided personally to stay away from it, but obviously we talk with the players in the committee and they give us some feedback as much as they can in terms of like the options and stuff. So it's been nice to have that line of communication also, and have players on the committee, asking the candidates what they see on the field and how they feel about the game and how they want to play, and all the different questions that maybe the coaches now don't realize are important, because it's obviously a little bit different being a player. So it's been nice having them on the committee and, keeping us in the loop as much as they can. So but yeah, so I opted out of it. It is a big time commitment. They're always on calls, and it's great to have them be a part of it.
For you as a veteran, you understand what maybe a normal preseason looks like, but now without having a full-time head coach and just having an acting head coach, it is a little bit of that hesitancy and unknown. So when you are with these younger players and these rookies, what's your advice to them as they start this first season with Chicago?
Yeah, so I feel like my advice is just to kind of settle into the group as fast as they can. I'd say the first week was a little bit chaos on the field. So I feel like they bring a good sense of energy, but at the same time, it's kind of finding that energy, but at the same time, being calm on the ball, taking care of the ball and those things. So that would be my advice to them. I feel like it's hard being a veteran without a head coach and knowing what the coach wants, to be able to, help them so much on the field. But I feel like these first few weeks, we've kind of just focused on the basic principles of attacking and defending and common themes that run throughout our team. So it's been nice to be able to, communicate those things to them. And it's honestly nice in the sense that they can catch on to those ideas before a new head coach comes in and kind of might change some things. So at the same time, I feel like the rookies have been great. They want to learn. They're, you know, super excited about the opportunity, and they're always asking questions. And I feel like that's great to have in a group, because I mean, when I was a rookie, I was scared to ask questions. I was like, okay. I was like, hi, like I didn't speak. So I love when they ask questions. They're willing to learn. They want to get better, and they want to make an impact on this team, which is great to have. And it only brings the competitive level up. So it'll be good for us.
Although it's hard to kind of assess how the team is going to look throughout this season without permanent head coaches and kind of what the goals are as a group, you can still do that individually. So for you, as you look ahead to 2022 season, being with Chicago, knowing who you are as a player, what personal goals are you setting for yourself for this year?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something I've thought about a lot in the off season. I feel like last year I struggled a little bit with my body and staying healthy throughout the year. So that was tough on me. And I feel like for a second there, I lost a little bit of love for the game. And I feel like after taking the whole off season, I was like, I can get my body right. I'm not that old. Like I kept calling myself old. I was like, am I old? Like, is it time? But I just kept reminding myself that I'm not old. I just need to take care of my body, get my body right. And then I'll feel good on the field again. And I feel like my main thing this year is staying healthy. And, you know, I feel like when I'm not fully healthy, I'm obviously not at my best. And when I'm not thinking about my body and my injuries, that I'm playing freely and it's more fun. And I feel like the biggest thing for me is to have fun again playing. It's hard when you're struggling with an injury that you're constantly thinking about, and it's draining, and it's not so much fun. It's kind of more like work. And I feel like the biggest thing for me is, you know, finding the joy in the game again, and, you know, getting back to myself on the field, and, you know, just competing. I feel like I lost a bit of edge to me last year, but the first few weeks of preseason I feel great, and I'm so happy I am back and stuff. So I feel like the biggest thing is staying healthy and being consistent.
I like that for the personal goals. And in terms of the Red Stars collectively, you know, the Red Stars have traditionally been a playoff contending team in years past. And now we're witnessing the league, you know, in an expansion year, right? Not just introducing not just one, but two teams. So in terms of the landscape changing as far as competition, how does having 12 teams maybe change up the potential chances of reaching a postseason again?
Yeah, I feel like it's obviously great that we have 12 teams now. It's nice to have expansion. I feel it'll be interesting. I feel like this season will be a bit more competitive across the board. I feel like there was a lot of change in teams and players spread out on different teams and stuff. So I feel like it'll be only more competitive. And every game we step onto the field, I feel like it's going to be a battle. Whereas maybe in past years, there were a few teams where I was like, oh, we got this for sure, kind of thing. So I feel like every game is going to be a battle. It's going to be tough. And I feel like even last year it was pretty competitive across the board, and it's just going to be another year like that. So I'm excited to see what this year brings. Obviously, we get to play in different stadiums and travel to different states. So I feel like that'll be also great and a new experience, but I think it'll be good.
It's always fun to ask players about their teammates because you guys have a different perspective on each other than they have on themselves. And right now it's February, it's international game is happening. The SheBelieves Cup is being hosted by the United States women's national team. You have a number of teammates being called up to that squad, but one that you play in very, very close proximity with on the pitch, Morgan Gautrat. She's a midfielder for Chicago. She's been in and out of the United States women's national team. And she was called in this year specifically for her performance at Chicago and in the midfield alongside you. What is it like playing with Morgan Gautrat in the midfield? What kind of player is she?
Wow, a loaded question, but for a good reason. I feel like, so personally, I was in the same class with her at UVA, played with her for so many years. And even though we're the same age and we're in the same class, I feel like I look up to Morgan as a player every day. I mean, that girl steps on the field and you just feel her presence at all times. I feel like last year, especially, was by far the best I've seen her play in a while. And credit to her because she she believes in herself, and that's what we need to do as players. And she knows she can be on the national team, and she's honestly one of the best midfielders I've ever played with, ever watched play. And just the way she sees the game, her vision on and off the ball, her technical ability, honestly, she's the full package for me. And I feel like I could go on forever, but I hope she's not watching this. But I love playing with her. And honestly, the biggest thing about playing with Morgan that I love is that I feel so like comfortable next to her. I know that if I give the ball away, she's going to get right in there and tackle the ball for me, or she's going to try to get back for me or help me or whatever it is. And I feel like whenever I'm on the ball, I feel like we play well together and we know each other's movements. So anytime I'm looking, I know where she's going to be. And I feel like that just goes a long way, especially in our league, when the speed of play is so quick. So for me, it's obviously been nice so many years playing with her. I watched her grow a lot as a player on and off the field. I think for a little bit there, she did struggle also with some injuries, which held her back a bit. But when she's healthy, I think she's one of the best midfielders in the world. So it's great having her here. And last year that really showed. I feel like she kind of was the glue to our team, I'd say. And some people would only say the midfield, but I would say to our full team. She kind of connected the lines for us, and held the group together throughout the year. So yeah, love playing with her. She deserves to be there right now. I'm so excited to watch tonight. So, but yeah.
I hope she does watch this, because you gave her such high praise, right? Like she's going to be beaming with confidence ahead of like the national team games, Chicago.
Everyone should watch this. Maybe they'll listen to me.
Yeah. And not me just in the background, like, you're like not expecting to be like, yes, like I'm going. Oh man, you know what, Danny, I wanted to get your thoughts on something really quickly. Here at Attacking Third, we've been celebrating the CBA with its historic significance, right, coming into play for the players. You've been playing in the league since 2015. It's rare to have this long of a career with maybe one specific club. So, in light of this happening, and in light of us still celebrating it, what's it mean to you personally to finally have a collective bargaining agreement in place?
Yeah, I mean, we're so excited as players, and I'm so excited. I feel like it going on 8 years here, I honestly didn't know that I would still be in the league. I feel like when I first started out as a rookie and seeing what I was making, I was like, okay, I'll give it a few years and then I'll just move on with life. And it was kind of sad because I was like, well, I don't know if I want to give up soccer that soon. And but in my head, I was like, I got to be able to support myself and make a sufficient living. So when I was first starting out, I was like, okay, a couple of years, then I'll move on. But as obviously time went on, and obviously now getting to where we are now with the CBA, it's just a great thing for us. And I feel like we, especially as older players, have put so much time and commitment into this league. To finally have a CBA just means a lot. And I feel like we're so excited about it. And it's just a good feeling to, feel that little bit of victory, especially with everything as we've been through as players in this league. So we're all excited about it, and we can't wait to see what comes.
Yeah, we're excited about it too. We've been asking all the players as they've been coming to join us on these preview type of interviews for preseason about it. So thanks for sharing that. Something else that's been coming up in our preseason interviews is the concept of like getting back into a routine and stuff like that when it comes into preseason. You've chatted a little bit about that at the top of the hour, but as we close out our interviews, we like to maybe tap into that a little bit and ask a little bit of fun questions. So it's generally been a two-parter on these player interviews. It's a coffee related question. So primarily A, are you a coffee drinker? And B, if so, and or if not, what is sort of your go-to beverage, whether it's like pre-training or post-training, when you have to have that quick go-to beverage? What's your order?
Ooh. Okay, go-to coffee. I love coffee. Obsessed with coffee. I think I started for a while there last year drinking too much coffee. And then I was like, I need to slow down. Like, I don't need 3 coffees a day. But so I'd say morning coffee go-to order is cold brew with a splash of oat milk. Super, I don't want to say basic, but
simple. Yeah. Just say simple.
Basic. But and I'm like the type of person that's like, I don't care if it's snowing, if it's whatever, I'm getting that cold brew.
That's right.
So that's just me. And then, so I've tried to stay away from coffee after training just because we train a little bit later, and I just maybe shouldn't have so much caffeine. But after training, if I were to have a drink nowadays, I'd probably just not go for coffee and maybe go for like a protein shake or something. So yeah, it's changed a bit, but yeah.
No,
I like that. I like
that.
that you drink iced coffee no matter what's happening, because Chicago's like covered in snow right now and you're still ordering your cold brew.
Yeah, I live with Emily Boyd, and she's like, "Are you sure you want ice? It's 10 degrees." And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, "Well, I have to hold it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Like, get a thing on it. I don't know.
You wear a glove.
Tell her to wear the gloves.
Yeah, and I'm also like, I don't even know, like I'm like too lazy to put the gloves on. So I'm standing there and I'm like, my hand is freezing. But I still need cold coffee.
Love it. I love all the wide different varieties of answers that we've been given for that question. So thank you for sharing yours with us. At the end of the episode, we always like to thank our listeners for listening. So thanks everybody for listening along. Danielle Colaprico, thank you for joining us. Good luck in the 2022 season. Everybody, you can follow us on Twitter at Attacking Third. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and anywhere you listen to your podcast shows. You can leave us a 5-star review on Spotify now, and you can hit us up on video. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Visit youtube.com/Attacking Third. And we'll be back with more team previews ahead of the 2022 NWSL season. For Sandra Herrera, Lisa Roman, and Danielle Colaprico, this was Attacking Third.